Welcome back, my favorite game developers. In this video, as you can see, we've added a little image, we've added a bit of text, and we've added a big health bar to represent the health of our boss. So now when we run the game, when the boss appears, we shoot him, you can see that his life depletes. When we shoot him again, he's angry, and if we shoot him while he's angry, you'll notice that he cannot take any damage. And this is a mechanic of every boss in every single game. So I shoot him again, the health bar disappears, the boss dies, and let's not waste any more time. This is a very long video, but believe me, it's important, and this is what happens when we are creating UI. So let's get started. Okay, so now we have everything working kind of good. We are able to damage the boss, we are able to kill him, we are able to remove him, but we do not have any clue of where his health is at. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a health bar for the boss. So I'm going to go up in here, and in this video actually I think there is something you can choose for yourself. So there are two types of health bars that you can add to the boss. One of them will be, for example, if you want the health bar to always be moving with the boss, but I personally think that is not the best idea, because you'd want to have your regular enemies have that health bar on top of their heads. So maybe having a boss health bar is better to be kind of like Dark Souls, either be on the bottom or at the top. And because we already have the health and the money and the weapons on the bottom to display for the player, then I'm going to create it up here at the top. So I'm going to open up the UI canvas, I'm going to open up the health, I'm going to get the health slider, and you know what, let's not use the health text for the boss. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to move it outside, and I'll need to open the prefabs, and I'll need to move the, where is it, health slider, and outside right here. Save that, back into our game. Now we have a health slider 1, which is, oh, so I by accident removed the actual health slider. Yep, open prefab, so sorry for that, should have moved the other health slider. So there we go, this one is in here, and then I'm going to duplicate this one, and I'm going to move this one outside of the canvas, and the one that we've created in here we can simply delete. So where is the health slider? There we go, this is the one that we need. Let's see, move this up. This will be the boss health slider. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and maybe create an empty game object right on here. Set it outside, set the boss slider, no. Let's delete this and add an empty game object to the canvas, boss health, and then add the boss health slider under the boss health. So this is very annoying whenever you have a prefab and you want to change it. It's extremely annoying. So even if I move this one, I still need to change it right here. So boss health slider, and then add to the UI canvas an empty game object, which is the boss health. Where's the boss health? And let's move the boss slider to the boss health, and let's set the position to be at 0, 0. There we go. So now we have the boss slider. We are working in the prefab. So in here I also want to make this a bit bigger. So if I zoom in, let's see what we have in here. Make this bigger on this side, make this bigger on this side also, move it up a bit. And I'm just going to go ahead, and if you want, you can go ahead and do it yourself, fill in everything. Let's see, do all the little adjustments. This will take a bit of time whenever you are adding UI. This is why the videos where we have UI, they are longer than usual. So there we go, I think this is good enough. Yep, seems good to me. And finally, I want to add a bit of an image. So I'm going to go into UI, image, and this image will have the boss image. And we can also add in here the boss name. So I'm going to add a text mesh pro, and this will be Skelly. Make it bold, make it in the middle, make it bold, make it robotic, and let's nope. And let's maybe move it either under or over it. It doesn't matter. Choose your own way of creating this. I'll make it auto size, and there we go. So Skelly. There we go, Skelly in here. The image will represent the boss, so I'm going to find in the sprites the, where is he? Where is the Skelly boss? There we go. So boss image, Skelly, and let's set the native set to native size. Let's preserve aspect ratio, and let's make it much smaller, and maybe set it in here. You know what, maybe this is not the best way to do this. Maybe you can just keep the head. So you know what, let me just delete this, or wait a second, and I'm going to edit this photo. Okay, welcome back. So all that I did is just edit this photo, and you'll probably have it in your resources. So I'm going to add it in here, and the boss's image will be the skeleton head. So there we go. Now we have this. I know this is not much. It doesn't really make the game much better, but it just adds a bit of finesse. So you know that this health bar belongs to the Skelly boss, and you have a small image of his head. So now we have a good representation. So now if I go back from the prefab, and for some reason it's not in its place, we have the boss health. Let's just delete this, keep this boss health, and for some reason it wasn't in its place. I'm going to go to the slider and set the position to 0, 0, and now we have it properly. And let's adjust the position a bit, and there we go. So now we have the boss Skelly health. Let's just move it a bit to the left, and I think it's pretty good right now. So this is the health we can see on the boss. If you want, we can also change the image of the fill. So I don't want it to be red. Maybe I want it to have it in the sprites. Let's see, UI. Do we have a UI? UI elements. So I was pressing the U, but I did not get it. Okay, so I'm going to go into the UI elements and get the blue one. So we'll use the blue one. Image, let's add the blue. No, not this one. The fill area, the fill, the blue slider. Okay, so now we have the blue slider moving up and down. And as I've said, this whole section or this whole video, you need to do your own research, you need to create your own UI, and you need to do things the way you would like them to be. Okay, so I think this is good enough. I'm not sure if it is good enough. And there is a bit of the edges are not very smooth, but no worries about that, as long as it represents things properly. So now we have the health. The next thing we need to do is to have control over it. So I'm going to go into the boss's health. I'm going to go into the script, and in the UI, or no, actually in the boss, there we go, right click, create C# script, and this will be the boss health bar. Hit enter, wait for it to compile, and any day now we have the boss health. Let's add it to the boss health in here. Let's open up the boss health bar. And what do we need to have in here? Well, obviously we want a reference to the slider. So serialized field, slider, we need to have UI engine. Unity engine.ui. So now we can have the slider. Then we have the boss health slider. Set that in here. So the first thing we do as soon as we start is we need to set the max value, obviously. So the boss health slider dot max value is equal to find object of type, and it's going to be the boss health handler. And from the boss health handler we need to get the max health. So we're going to go into the boss health handler and in here create a small method which is going to be a public int get max health, or get boss max health, open up the brackets, return max health. There we go, save that. Back in here, get boss max health. We save that. Now we're going to slide into the update. Get it? Slide, because we are using a slider or operating on a slider. So in update, we are going to all the time get the boss health slider dot value, and it's going to be equal to find object of type health handler, boss health handler, and we are going to get the current. So I'm going to duplicate this one, get boss current health, save that. So this is just a return method of integer, nothing too complicated. So get boss current health all the time. And now let's go ahead and assign the slider. So open this up, the slider, and what is the slider? This one is the slider. Save all of that. Let's make this a bit bigger, run the game. So now we should see the health slider move with the enemy's boss. So we shoot him, there we go. So as you can see, his health gets smaller and he gets angry right about the halfway point of our game. Finally, when we shoot him for the last time, he dies, but we still have this health bar, and not only that, we have this small error appearing in here. Well, actually not a small error, a constant error. So I'm going to collapse it, double click in here and see what the problem is. Find object of type. So this is a null reference. Null reference means that we are trying to get a reference to something that does not exist, or the return is null. So in here we have the boss health handler, and obviously when we die we destroy the boss, and when we destroy the boss health handler goes with him. So we need to find a solution to that, and that is going to be your challenge. So your challenge is to remove the health bar and make the boss invincible. Maybe your challenge isn't to fix the error. Anyways, let's see what we have in here. First of all, when the boss dies, make sure that the health bar is removed and stop the error. So you'll need to obviously remove the health bar and remove the image and the picture, so we don't no longer have to call that every single time. Then you'll need to make sure that when the boss is going into the angry state, we want to make him invincible. So when he is getting angry, we don't want to be able to shoot him. This is first of all not fair to the boss, because he cannot attack us or move when he is getting angry. Second of all, because in every single game when a boss transitions into the second phase, you cannot hit him. This is something standard in all games. So I'm going to give you a hint of how to do the last part. You'll need to add behavior to the get anger state. And as I told you, we need to fix the problem of the error. Well, obviously when we actually disable the health bar, it no longer calls for the player's health, the boss's health handler, so we no longer have the error. So with that information, pause the video right now and go do the challenge. Okay, welcome back. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into the update in here, and we're going to check if the boss health slider dot value is less than or equal to 0, that means that we are going to destroy the entire game object. Now we don't have to destroy the game object, we can maybe set the game object to active false or set it to inactive, but I'm just going to destroy it just so we make sure we don't have anything anymore. So save that, and then we are going to go into the boss health handler, and in here we are going to create a variable, and that variable is going to be a public bool and is invincible, and is going to be set to false at the beginning. Or you know what, let's not make it public, let's make it a private, and we'll create a method in here that is going to be public int, or no, actually, sorry, void set the boss invincible, and it's going to take in a parameter which is a boolean, and it's going to be is Skelly in, or no, not that, is boss invincible, and then in here we are going to say that is invincible is equal to is boss invincible. Save that, and in here, before we take damage, as you can see, we have the comment if getting angry. This should not work, so we're going to say if is invincible, then we are going to just return. So return means when we do return, just like we have the return values in here, once we get to the return, this entire method stops. So anything under this line of code, so in here anything that we write will not be registered after the return, and this is exactly what we do in here. So when we take damage, in here we check if he is invincible, we open this one up, we enter into the condition, we execute the return, and none of these lines get executed. So we basically return a value, and because this is a void, we can return anything. If it was an integer, not a void, we could have just said return 0. So I'm going to remove this, I'm going to save all of this, and now how are we actually going to be setting the is invincible? I'm going to go back in here, I had this one running, and let's test out first of all the health bar. So shooty, 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 there we go. And when he finishes this animation, he will die, and you can see that we no longer have a health bar and we no longer have any errors. Excellent. Now the next thing to do is to go into the animator, into the getting angry state. And why is this not becoming smaller? Okay, so in the get angry, we're going to add a behavior. We're going to call it the boss underscore get angry, new script, create an add, and obviously it will be created in the assets in here, the boss get angry. I'm going to move it into the scripts boss folder file, or whatever you want to call it. So boss, there we go. So boss get angry, open this one up. As we can see, the last two we will not need, and these ones will be Control KU, Control KU, and Control KU. So in here, what should we be doing? Where should we be making sure that the boss is invincible or setting it up? Well, I believe we should first of all set it to true when we enter into the state. So I'm going to access the animator dot get component. So now we have access to the boss health handler, and in here we are going to set the boss invincibility to true. And then when we exit, I'm going to duplicate this line and move it down. And when we exit the state, then we again can get hit. So as you can see right here, we've created the set boss invincible. We have a parameter that we need to send it. we access it using the component of the boss health handler, which is also present with the animator. So we have both components on the same game object. That's why we can access the animator, get a component, which is the health handler, set the boss invincibility to true, and in here, when we set is invincible to whatever the is boss invincible, whatever the parameter, if it is true, then it returns. If it's false, then we do not return. The boss takes damage. We save that. We go back into our game. Where is it? So up here, we run the game. We shoot the boss once, twice, and you can see right here that while he is angry, he does not get damaged. So I've shot him 3 to 4 times. He does not get damaged. Finally, I shoot him, he dies, and there we go. We have no errors except for this one, which is, I believe, something that isn't any of our concern, something about the panel. We have this all the time. So we're going to go out, we're going to make sure to stage all of our files, and now created a boss health bar. So I hope you enjoyed. Excuse me for the long video, but this is what happens when we are creating UI. This is all based on your preference, how you want your game to look, and I'll see you in the next video, and I believe the final video, where we will make the boss actually shoot after a certain amount of time. So see you then.